Holy cow, is it that time already? Seems like we were just here. I love it. Hello, everybody, however many of you it is. Glad to have you here. I'm John Zidar. This is Taylor.
Hey, hey.
That's Taylor. We're here to talk to you about stocks you're interested in. I make videos all week for Penny Boys. That's my Discord group. Penny Boys is a professional trading organization. They trade it all, folks. You name it, they trade it. Taylor just told me they also do sports betting now. I know there's a lot of you that are into that sort of stuff. It's a free organization that has a lot of paid for options. You want teaching, mentors, stuff like that, all optional. Got a link down at the bottom there, comes from the wizard. Just click it, come on in. Look for me. I'm the stocks wizard, and this is Taylor-ish. So we're going to look at stocks that you're interested in. I share stocks with you all week. This gives you a chance to bring stocks to us. Now, honestly, I'm hoping you're bringing us some hot stocks to share with us. Everybody's got stocks. We all own stuff, and we all want things to get better. Showing it to me, having me look at it isn't going to make anything better. If it's not doing good, I can't put any wizardry on it. You've come to the right show, but I haven't got anything to show besides you information. We've got a few in the queue already. I've got one that I got from YouTube. One I have chosen, but we're going to jump into those that came and are in the queue first. We got the underdog who was here at 245. I like an early riser. That used to be Velmore. That's okay. Velmore was number 2. She was here early too. And those are the only 2 tickers we got at the start. So let's start. I'm going to bring up my page now. Oh, I'm going to let you do it. We'll get that straight right now. Okay, we are going to jump over to, let me see. The first one we have is who? ABQQ. That's the one. ABQQ. I'm stuttering already. AB International Group. This is at 0005, just at the break point. What I like to consider, I don't go below 0005. Those just take too long to come up. This is a pink. She's got a transfer agent. That is one validated piece of information, and it's important. Validated profile, verified profile is the other one. When you're trading pinks, you want as much validated information as you can get because you don't get any with a pink. So we really like to see those 2 there. So what is this company about? Let's see here. AB International Group is an intellectual property and movie investment and licensing firm focused on acquisitions and development of various intellectual property. Now, this is kind of interesting and it's kind of hard to read. It sounds like somebody who doesn't speak English wrote it. We are engaged to acquire and distribute movies. The company operates its first movie theater in New York. The company engages in operations of movie theaters in New York into nationwide. As I said, I'm having a hard time understanding it. But they're telling us here they're launching an online service. The online service will be marketed and distributed in the world under the brand name abqqq.tv and is expected to generate a new and profitable revenue stream immediately following its launch, derived from its hybrid subscription and advertising business model. The company also owns the IP of NFT movie and music marketplace as the unique entertainment industry of non-fungible tokens. Right now, NFTs aren't hot, but boy, they were hot there for a while. Stupid hot. People were paying silly money for silly NFTs. And an NFT is a metaverse token, if you will. It can do a lot of things. You can attach music to it, 3D, virtual reality, private chat rooms, private concerts. I mean, you can do all sorts of things with an NFT. And it was sucking money out of the market. When you buy an NFT, it's not a short-term investment like virtual properties and stuff in the metaverse. These aren't short-term holds, but they take a lot of money, and people get that money from somewhere, other investments. And they buy these and they hold them, and then they get stuck with them, and that money doesn't come back into our market. So as much as these NFTs can generate money for businesses, they can suck money out of the market. It's just a byproduct that I've noticed. However, NFTs can do companies a lot of gains. You can do this with celebrities, with movies. They could come out with NFTs for every movie that has ever been made, and there would be people who wanted to buy them and would pay money for them. And then you own the rights to whatever you bought, and you can resell it. You have the rights to license it. You can do whatever you want with it. It's not just a collector's piece. You own the rights to that piece of intellectual property. So, what have we got here for relative volume for this company? Well, not bad. About, well, more than doubled her volume, and her volume isn't light. But of course, you get a lot of shares for a little money down here at this 000 range. She went from 155 million shares to 375 million shares today. Must be a reason for that. Share structure, ow. Urgh. Well, with these 000 stocks, you normally have 000 floats. We're at 1.6 billion shares in the float here. Let's see what we have for financials. That's a good one to know. Well, they've definitely had an increase in their revenues. 2021, they're at $115,000. We got 3 zeros up there to put on any of the numbers on these charts. And that kicked up 25 times, 25 times over the next year to 3 million. Though they're not making any profits these last couple of years. They're bringing the losses down, but they're not making any money. And they had a strong last quarter, 573,000, but again, they're still not making any money. They're losing money. Let's check out that balance sheet. Not much money in the bank, 134,000. Not a lot of money owed to them. Not a lot of inventory. They don't have anything, but it all sounds digital. Movies. I don't know exactly how those assets are added up. Total assets is 3.2 million. Total liabilities is 1.7 million. Now, my math, I'm doing 3.2 minus 1.7. I'm coming up with, oh, I don't know, 15 or something. Well, whatever the number is, it ain't that. It ain't that number. Is it? No, it isn't. This is supposed to be the shareholder equity value down here at the bottom. Now, I guess there's a lot of extra numbers here that got thrown in somewhere. We're minus. At first glance, it looks like we are up and they are ahead, but we are down 471,000, and that has crossed over to the shareholders. That's what we're liable for, that number down there. So we're down $500,000. All right, let's see what I learned about this company. What sort of information did you come up with? We've got a Form 4 here. Did I pull that up? Did I pull that up? Yeah, we got 2 filings here we need to look at. September 25th, they received $1.5 million free interest unsecured loan from the CEO. Insiders are loaning themselves money. They must believe in it. The other one is pretty big. This is a Form 4. When insiders acquire or dispose of shares of the company stock, we're interested if they buy them or sell them, and they can get them and lose them in a lot of different ways. Well, we got a big P right there. That means he purchased them. He got 225,000 shares at 0002. That's really cheap. I mean, that sounds like a big buy, but the fact of the matter is you can buy 1 million shares for 0001, which means you can get a half a million for 50 for $100 at that price. He's got 225 million. But he did buy, it's on the books, and who's he? We're talking the chief executive officer made this purchase. And was there any news to launch this thing? I think that's why I jumped into the filings. We have no news over here whatsoever. All of this news is old. The most current news is about launching an NFT on the way NFT for a movie. Like I said, for every movie you make, you can have an NFT for an actor, for the movie itself, all sorts of stuff. It's a good moneymaker because NFTs are cheap to make. It's a digital product, right? You don't have to order anything. So I guess that's everything we've got to look at here. Let's take a look at the chart for ABQQ.
Okay, so this is the daily chart with the big picture here. Yeah, so I scrolled up while you were talking, and it's unbelievable. When this first came onto the market back in 2017, 2018, it went all the way up to $1,500 right away, and then came back down. The latest high we've seen is about 24 cents.
Now,
So
I was just talking to my brother-in-law about that. There's a lot of stocks I see when they come onto the market. they'll be $10,000. And
Yeah,
it's like they put all the equity that the stock is worth up there. And it's like, no way anybody ever paid $10,000 for this share of stock.
right. It's
So,
one of those things that maybe the chart is not really being truthful about. So anyway, so here we are right here at 0005, like you mentioned. So each one of these, I marked these. This is 0001, 0002, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're right here. We need to get up over here,
right
and that's quite a bit percentage wise.
now,
Not
you're
quite
on
a.
the yearly chart. I'll bet you she's breaking out on the 4 hour
Oh
chart.
no, this is the daily. So this is the
Right. But
4
I'll
hour.
bet you she's breaking out on the 4 hour too.
Here's the
Oh,
4
yeah.
hour.
She's ripping. She is taking off. I mean, it's been a long time, and I haven't seen her over the 200 in a
It
while.
is finally moving, yeah. So it needs to move a little more though. We're at 0005.
Needs to move a lot more.
Yeah. So, but it did consolidate for quite a while, down here at 0001 to 0002. So it is kind of breaking out of that. So that could be a good sign. There. So I guess I mean whatever's causing this big spike in volume, hopefully that's going to continue. It's moving on some kind of news, obviously.
Yeah, and we didn't actually see any. I mean, you had that filing, and that
Hmm.
can be exciting, but I mean, when you multiply it out, it's not a lot of money. It is a ton of shares. I mean, I wish I had 225 million shares. Yeah, but
Okay,
that's
so
really the only
15.
catalyst. But at that price, I don't think he's buying because he knows something's going to happen. I'm presuming he bought it because it's virtually the cheapest price you can buy it. If you can get it at 0001, you're lucky. It rarely is actually available at 0001, but it's readily available at 0002. Somebody wants to make 100% off you.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the 15 minutes just kind of hanging out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
What's the 5 minute look like? Is it a bar chart?
Yep, that's 5 minutes. It's pretty much bar chart. Oops.
Right. She's just kind of hanging around that middle zone. She had a low, she had a high. She's just come right back down into the center.
Yep, so this is what we're looking like.
So I really don't see any catalyst to get her going, but we didn't do a deep dive. There wasn't a lot of information for her. Volume increased though. There was
Hmm.
definitely a volume increase, but it looks like the big investment, and I guess it's actually a double investment. I wonder if you take that 1.5 million that the CEO invested, if that is the news of his investment. If you add up that 225 million times 0.0002, if it comes out to 1.5 million dollars.
Hmm.
So that's about all I can see on her.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, let's jump into Velmore's. We are going to be looking at that. That's come in too, but Velmore has brought us CDIX, another 000. This is down to 0005, 400% gains. She has jumped. What is that? It says she jumped 0004. So what was she at? 0001 and moved that much? See, that's an impressive jump. That's not a very big move. But down there, that's like a snail getting a quarter inch off the ground jumping. That's a lot for a snail. They don't come off the ground. This is CDIX, Cardiff Lexington. She's on the pink as well. She's current. Remember with these pinks, folks, this is the most dangerous stock you can be investing in because we're taking the management's word on everything. Very little filings come out. They make a lot of deals with memorandums of understanding, non binding letters of intent, which means that's a back out. That's something to say, oh, it fell apart. Darn, sorry, guys. And these guys have shares. So at some point, they sell and make their money, and then we get caught again. And then they bring out another big piece of news. So always be very careful about these pinks. CDIX, what are they about? They say we acquire private middle market healthcare companies, providing them the ability to have an infusion of equity into their business. So they get companies that need money, right? Our buy and build acquisition value creation strategy targets acquisition of middle market, private niche companies synergistically leveraging data and resources across similar target markets as wholly owned subsidiaries. Okay, so let's see what we got going on here for relative volume. Wow, talk about an increase in volume.
Yeah.
Holy cow. That's almost 1,000% increase there, 10 times almost, going from 327,000 shares to 319 million shares. Something's going on here. Absolutely. Share structure. Not bad, not great, but it's average. We got about 388 million. I'm presuming, if the math is right here, about a billion outstanding. Insiders own twice as much, about 710 million. We get the rest, 388. Financials for CDIX. Well, I'm not quite sure what this is about here, but compared to 2021, they had a jump of about 2 million, and they're in the profit. Good for them. They took home 7.5 million in 2022. Quarterly, they're averaging 2 to 3 million, and they're bringing home profit. Check out that balance sheet. Not a lot of money in the bank. I don't know how they're supporting anybody financially. $350,000 in the bank. Total assets, 14.2 million. Total liabilities is less, 10.7. That would have been about 4 million. Again, we've got a number here that tells us that we are down 2 million right now in this company. All right, let's see what we've got going on here. What did I find here? Right, this company I will show you doesn't have a lot of news. All this news is from 2018. That is of no use to us right now. We got one piece here. That's the only piece I'm in. This came out ta-da, today. All right, so now we've got a catalyst. We know why they jumped. Why did they jump? Because everything here is increase. All of it. 20% increase on total assets, 12% increase on revenue, 6% net increase on revenues, increase on profits, increase, all the way down the board. Lots of information if you want to read how they did it, but the fact is they're growing. The financials, right. So they told us that. Was there anything else I'd found? Oh, I just wanted to show you. They don't show us a lot of news over there at the OTC markets, and they do gap sometimes. There is actually news out there and they don't bring it out. Or there's news out today and it just hasn't been brought over yet. So I use this site as backup. It comes out with news fast, and there's always this yellow button right next to it if there's new news. So I know there is. Well, you can see here, we've got 2023. We got two pieces of news for 2023, second quarter and third quarter financials. And this one's for 2022. And then all of these are pretty much just financials. Now we're back to 2021. So the company doesn't communicate with their investors very much. There's not a lot of information from news presses. You're going to get everything from their filings, whatever they do file. So that's all we got for Cardiff, Lexington, ticker CDIX. Taylor's got the rest of the information.
Okay. I don't know about a lot of information, but so you mentioned their earnings that they must have announced something.
Ah,
So
no,
this
it's
is
what you
what
just posted right there.
right
Velma
here.
didn't originally post that, did she? Oh, she did.
Mhm.
Going from expert to pink. Folks, that's when you're going to get your biggest runs. Expert is when they
Oh.
pull your company off the market because they failed to file their financials on time. And when you are invested, you can't do anything. You're locked up with the company. And it goes down to the expert market and stays in the dungeon until they get those financials caught up. Then when they come back on, the price may have been, just for an example, a half a penny, 0.005 when they got yanked off the market. Stock marketeers and brokers will bring that price below 0001. It will go down, down, down. And then when it comes back on the market, it has to come on at least at 0001. Well, if the price was 0.001, it will jump back to its normal price from 0001 to wherever its normal price was, and you'll get a huge bounce. My biggest call was on an expert. I got a video out there. I called a 17,000% gain for the next day. What kind of idiot says a stock is going to go up 17,000%? Do you know the next day it went up 85,000%? I
Jeez.
got a video out there, one the day before and the day after. So I ain't BSing you about the expert markets. That's the reason it jumped. The rest is just frosting on the cake.
Okay, I thought it had something to do with this. They didn't release it on TradingView, but they did release an earnings report, so that might have been part of it. I'm
Got
not
lots
sure.
going on then.
Yeah, so there was obviously a huge increase in volume to 319 million versus all this, you know. So it was down to 0001, like you were saying, and it did go all the way up to 0007 today, at some point in the day.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
that was in pre-market, and then today it went.
So even if you had it at triple zero two, but see, those are the things with an
See,
expert
so
market. You
pre-market.
can't put in an order before
Oh,
the
that worked.
market. They don't warn you. There's no forewarning that's coming off the expert. It just happens. You have to look for the filings to see if they've got their financials filed and they're all caught up. Then it's 2, 3, 5 days after everything's filed if it's accepted. So all you can do is stare at the ticker and wait for it to come on the market and hope you get an order in there. And you can't do it market. You got to do it limit. So you're going to have to pick a price up high, not too high, because most brokers say that's too high. We can't take that order. So you got to find a price that's up high enough to catch it before it launches. These are rare to catch, folks. If you catch them, consider yourself blessed.
Yeah, this is the
What a
15
nice
minutes.
rip. And it
Yeah,
held it.
yeah. So it did open right here at 0001 and just went straight. I said something about pre-market earlier. I was mistaken. There's no pre-market hours on this. It just opened here, went straight up to about 0006, and then just basically came back down, ripped. Now it looks kind of like a bull flag. So this is the 15-minute chart, what it did today. So yeah, I mean, I didn't know that about coming back from the expert market onto the peak market. So that's a new one on me.
Yeah,
So
I've got a video out there. There is a couple pages on the OTC market that tells you pre-market every single tier change on the OTC. When they come from Pink Limited, they've got their filings caught up before they got thrown off the market. That's why they're Pink Limited. They go back to Pink. You normally get a jump out of that. People are happy. But you can see if someone's coming off the expert market, it tells you pre-market. So as soon as the bell rings, they're going to be there. So you do have a heads up. And I got a video that shows you all of this. You can catch these dark horses if you're watching for them. You got to get out there and look. That was a nice run,
yeah.
700%.
Hmm.
But that was from the floor. That was from the floor.
Those
Nobody
from
had
the
it on the
floor, right? Exactly.
nobody had it on the floor.
0001. Okay.
All right, what's our next one here? Okay, we will talk about this one. No problem. We talked about this. I think I showed this to you at this is Nate's Food and HMD. I think I showed it to you at 0004 and it went up to 0025 the last time I looked. I don't know where it's at right now. Oh, it's fallen. Okay, that's okay. So when we looked at it, 225, you're talking about 600% gains. You could have caught that. And I mean, right after we looked at it, we looked at it after it had 1 day bounce. After we looked at it, she climbed for 5 days, folks. I do find hot stocks, and we found this by looking at the chart. The news matched the heat. That's why I shared it with you. What was that heat? Well, let's see if there's anything new here first. Now, I got nothing new here. JP Energy is doing a deal with this company, a merge, and they have this deal that they have for sugar being sent to China. A lot, 600 metric tons. They're going to send it over in two shipments, 250,000 and 350,000 metric tons. They've already got financing for it. And they created this deal, this new company, just for this deal. I don't know where it goes beyond. That's the only reason you opened up the company. Maybe there's a tax benefit since it's a huge thing. You know, they get some advantage. I'm not real sure. The other piece of news was they had also eliminated 1 billion shares. You can't overlook that. That's a ton of shares. So how many do they have? Well, they got 3 tons. They got 3.1 billion shares in the float, it looks like, which is most of the outstanding share count. So I'm presuming it was up at 4 billion before all of that. What was the relative volume on the company today? It dropped, as did the gains from 0015 She went down 17% today, and she dropped from 226 million shares to 212 million shares. That's not a bad share count for a double zero. We've already looked at that. Let's check out her disclosure, see if anything came in new here. Yeah, I don't think this was out. Oh no, please don't be what I think you are. Important regarding availability information. Voting. Let's see here. I thought this was going to be a public offering. I'm having a hard time seeing exactly what exactly it is. I think this is just for this deal. Approval of the acquisition of JP Energy Group. Expected closing date October 31st, 2023. There you go, folks. There's your window of opportunity. She's taking a dip right now. She's been running. If you can ride, we're going to have Taylor look at the charts. We're going to see what it looks like over the next few days based on the trend of her SMAs. I'm an SMA man. I really believe most people follow SMAs. I don't think they look at the bars too much. There are people who do, and it's great if you can. But everybody pretty much uses SMAs, supports, and resistances. And riding those SMAs, you can tell ebb and flow, if you will, rolls, and you can see if she's going in that direction. It will be the break on October 31st to closing the deal. However, in saying that, in most cases that I have seen, when a deal closes, it is the smallest bounce of all the bounces from all the news that came out about the deal. So don't get your hopes up on a huge bounce because they closed the deal. It's all built in. We've had a lot of run on it, so it's going to come down right now. But keep your eye on it because I don't know what the chart looks like right now. Anything else to consider with Nate's? I think we've covered every base there except that chart, which I do want to see. Let's take a look at that chart.
Okay. Sorry, I was just marking a few things.
You
So this
mark
is
it, girl.
so this is the fourth time we've looked at this, and I marked the dates approximately where we looked at
Good.
this.
I like that.
So that way we can see now. So I added today's date. Anyway, so when we first looked at this, which was on the 28th of September, I thought this was a really good looking chart, just the way that there was a really good support resistance line here, and there was a really nice consolidation for several months from February up until September. And we saw this first run that you pointed out here,
Mhm.
approximately, and it continued to run. You said 5 days. It's been running since then. I mean, about a month
I
almost.
think we looked at it October 2nd.
Um,
I
October 2nd,
think.
that's a Monday. So it was the 28th
Here,
of
I can tell you
September.
for absolutely sure. And
You and me looked at it on the 28th, right here. I'm 100%.
the 24th, September 24th was when we looked at it on my
September,
video. So
September
whatever game,
28th is a Thursday.
the 24th, the 24th is when I covered it.
Did you cover it in another video? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I did a video all
Oh,
by
oh, got it.
myself on the
Gotcha.
24th.
Gotcha. So that would have
Yeah, I
been
cover 45 stocks a month.
so, so that would have been, yeah, right. I know. So that would have been here, and then
Yeah,
we talked
right. A
right about here. So we talked about it here. I was just marking what when we had talked about it.
lot of gains on that one.
So you also talked about it here. So if you zoom out, this is the 4 hour, so you can see when you mentioned it, and then we've talked about it here, here, and here. So this is when the last time we talked about it on the 19th is when it took that little dip, and then it came back up to its highest it's been in a while, which is 00029, give or take. It might have been
Wow.
003. So, and it started down here in this consolidation level, a low of God,
Double 029.
yeah, 0029 up here. Yeah, that was on Monday,
Right.
or yeah, Monday the 23rd of October.
Oh, she has been falling, hasn't she? A couple of days there.
Yeah, since then it's been falling, and it did fall below this support resistance line that I made a long time ago.
Right.
That line's been there for a while,
It's come
and
down to the 50.
it did come down to the 50 and came right back up. So this is the
Yeah.
50. The only thing I'm really not liking right here is this 921 crossover. That is not a good sign.
No, come on down to the 1 hour.
Okay. Whoops.
Since we're looking
Ooh,
for
look
the
at that.
next couple of days. So now she's bouncing on that 200,
Mm-hmm.
which you've got to expect it to come back to the 200 at some point. I
Yeah.
mean, that's just the way it works. And if you come to it and not through it, well, that's comforting. So, as bad as it looks, it's been ripping. It's got to
Right.
make an adjustment. It's
Yeah,
got
they do have to pull back, especially when you've had this extreme, basically vertical run. It has to pull back. I mean, it doesn't make sense to just keep going. That it's going to eventually start selling off. Shorts are going to start taking over.
so
Whatever.
there is a possibility, in my view. I don't know about Taylor's. I see the chart as preparing for another bounce.
Oh
That
yeah.
doesn't mean it's going to, but she's got a catalyst in just a few days. So it is a fair expectation. And this would be a good buy point. This would be
Hmm.
not for everything because we don't know what's going to happen, but you only have to wait 4 days. Is that the end of the week? No, that's going to be next
That's
week.
Tuesday, the 31st. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I think that's on a Tuesday.
Okay. So that's going to be next week.
Hmm.
But that 200 looks like an uptrend to me. I agree with you. I do not like the crossover up top, but it's doing the crossover over the 200. So, it's going to get messy as it dips. I got to expect that. So, in my view, I think it's going to bounce. What do you think, Taylor?
I do think it is. This is the 15 minutes. So when you keep going down and down, it's not looking as good.
No, that
But
looks ugly.
but that's why we chart on different time frames.
That's
That's
right.
exactly why I start with the daily, just to see like what the major
Yep.
movements have been, and then you can always go down. But start big and then go down. That's what I always do anyway. But I mean, you do it however you want. I'm not saying do it a certain way. It's on the 4 hour chart that's just a little concerning. And because it's on the 4 hour chart, that's why I'm a little more concerned about this than I am about the 15-minute looking so bad. Um,
Right. I agree. I agree. So she's worth the watch. She's
but I
showing
like
that.
the 1 hour. I like the 1 hour a lot.
Got a lot of people watching it. She's showing a lot of activity on the price. She's fallen. Of course, she's going to fall after a wild surge. And she's come back to a expected place of landing right on the 200. So she's worth a watch. Put it on your watch list. It could do another rip. You got a lot of
Yeah,
followers on Twitter who like this stock. They do.
I like it too.
It's very sweet.
I
Get
like
it?
the chart a
Sugar?
lot. Yeah, I get it. Okay.
All right. We ready to move on?
Yes.
Oh, yes. I see you pop me up. All righty, we are going to take a look at LAP. This is LLAP, Terran Orbital Corporation. I just covered this. Was it yesterday or was it the day before? I just covered it here recently, so I'm familiar with it. She finished today, I think it was 82 and a half cents yesterday. 83, almost 84 cents today, up a smidge, 1.4%. She's on the New York Stock Exchange. We don't look at a lot of penny stocks on the New York Stock Exchange, but that's where she's at, and that's a good thing. You're going to be able to trade it for free. OTC is raping you for every trade, and you're going to be able to trade it pre-market, aftermarket. Even if you see pre-market and aftermarket trading on OTC stocks, you and me cannot participate. So here we can. So this company had a lot of big news here recently. This piece of news right here, I'm going to actually jump into this one quickly so that you can see I'm not making up this number. The company makes buses, let's call them chassis, for satellites. Now, they do a lot of other things with technical stuff and information, but they make these chassis for satellites. And one chassis can fit a whole bunch of different types of satellites. They've got them for small, medium, and big. Well, Lockheed Martin here has got a contract with them to build 36 satellites. Now, this scares me. I said this in the video. This is what these satellites are for. The SDA's, the constellation, which is many satellites, will advance the proliferated warfighter space architecture, initial warfighting capability. I'm not liking this. With targeted technology enhancements, mission focused payload configurations, and increased integration. Now, when you read through here, they say it is to target missiles, not cities. Ugh. So you've got that going on. Oh, and I did want to point out down here because there is a big number here. Where did he say it? Right there. Um, Oh, there it is. Terran Orbital is currently building 42 buses for Lockheed Martin to help the company fulfill its $700 million contract for the SDA Tranche 1 transport. $700 million contract. They say this is currently scheduled for late 2024 launch. So this one they're not involved with yet, but it's sitting on the table, a $700 million contract. Now, what they've got going on this very moment, they just got a $4.7 million contract with the European Space Agency. They created this robot in space. It comes out of a capsule, and this little robot comes out and does maintenance on the robot, on the satellites for them. And then you can send up stuff. It comes down, lands like the Apollo, and then gets sent back up. And then they got another contract from Martin Lockheed, which is current, for $7.7 million. Now, what does that mean financially to them? 7.7, 4.7, that's $12 million we're talking about between those two contracts. Not even talking about, I've been having such a hard time with this site and the financials. Thank you very much. So that is 700 million for next year, 12 million they've got going on right now. 2022 they had 94 million, but look, they were losing money for all the money they were making, which was a nice jump from the year before, more than doubling their revenues. But for the little money, they at least made profits back then. Here, they're losing a ton. Quarterly, well, they're making money steady here. It is growing consistently. They're up to 32 million in the last quarter, and they're finally making profits. Balance sheet for this company, they got money in the bank, 48 million. We got those 3 zeros. Don't forget about those. Total assets, 158 million. Total liabilities, 284 million. So you know the number down here is going to be big. 125 million equity for minus 125 million equity for stockholders. Let's see now. I don't think there was anything else that came out for this. We'll check the relative volume here in a minute. 8Ks, I covered all the important information there as far as I can remember.
Hey
Uh,
John, do
I,
you happen to see anything that happened? I know this is a while ago, but February 22nd.
February 22nd, I'll check that out here in just a moment.
Okay.
I see here, folks, we are halted. I don't know why. I didn't know, but it says halted right now. I also see we had about 50% more volume today, jumping from 4.6 million to 6.8 million. I'm sure that's because of my video yesterday. Let me go on over to that news. Uh, February 2nd, you said?
Yeah, February 22nd.
I
Yes.
thought we are going to go that far. If we go that far, no.
Okay.
I only go back to August. Hold on, y'all. I've always got two sets. You can't shut me down until I check my filings. They normally go back infinity. I can normally go endlessly back as long as they were on the market. I can normally find them. All right, here we go. There's April. Boy, April had a bunch of them. Lots of them. February 28th, you said?
22nd.
22nd. All right, we got a bunch of Form 4s. I've seen a lot of Form 4s as we were coming through here. What were these purchases? No. Those were all sales. I see S's here. 22nd, another one. Sales on that one. Lots of them. I mean, I'm talking millions of shares are being sold. Let me go back one more, see how many of those 4s we got. One more, and we have an 8K on that day. Let's see what that 8K. Material Definitive, Tyvak Nano Satellite Systems, a subsidiary of Terran, entered into procurement, developing production of 300 satellites. They got a deal for 300 satellites, inclusive of 12 in-orbit spares. So you had a lot of selling going on from the insiders. At the same time, they just cut a deal for 300 satellites. I'm confused. More due diligence. There's got to be something more going on here, but maybe those sales by the insiders was all it took. If you're selling after you've cut a deal, something's wrong. So I don't know what the chart looks like, but that's what was going on back then.
Okay.
And that's all the news. Let's check out that chart.
Okay. Oh, whoops. Sorry, wrong one. There we go.
Oh, that hurt. Don't you do that again.
Sorry. So this is why I was asking, because you can see this extreme increase in volume, and we had a pump It opened at about $1.80, went to a high of 3.42 that day. So that's why I was asking. That's
So it was good news. They took the deal over the selling. That could have
okay.
swung either way.
Yeah. So I don't know if I had looked at this before or I did while I wasn't. I don't know, but this
That
line.
it really was a short-lived climb, though,
Oh
wasn't it?
yeah, yeah, very, very
I
much
mean,
so.
right behind it, it's like, so
Yeah,
what?
and
So
I had
what?
poor earnings. Uh, so that there was that.
Oh, right. Just complicate matters.
And then that happened. We have one coming up though, so it has been moving on earnings, sometimes good, sometimes bad. Like, say this one, it did move a little bit, not a lot. Sometimes it's
Right.
bad though. So there is one coming up on November 14th.
And I expect the next one to be stronger.
If
I
it's
expect
good,
there to be money
yeah.
there.
So if you're kind of a risk taker, then if you want to hold this through earnings, that's very risky. But I'm
Right.
just saying there is an
Right.
earnings coming up next month, so the 14th of November. So right now, if we look at the 4 hour, we have had a lot more volume, as you can see. Um, looks like it's trying to reverse, kind of like almost a double bottom here. And all of these EMAs are starting to cross, which is a good sign that we're kind of reversing. And these candles are nice and big and green. They're not little. You know, so this looks like it's trying to push for a stronger move. Like whereas this one was just kind of like sliding pretty slow. This is it's crossed those EMAs.
Yeah.
They're trying to cross over. This one's trying to meet this
Right. It's
one.
showing enthusiasm.
We are seeing some enthusiasm, yeah. So I do like that. Let's see what the one
I
hour
like
looks
it
like.
too.
hmm 1 hour looks good too. Look at this. So we've had like a lot of strong movement, especially at the very beginning of the day. So if you're going to get in this, it's going to, and there's always a lot of pre-market action too. I've noticed this.
Yeah.
So lots of pre-market action, especially this was today.
Now,
So
remember, folks, I know a lot of you don't want to get up at 4 in the morning. And if you're on the East Coast, you could stay up to 1 in the morning and just the market opens at 1 in the morning in California. But you can put in good till canceled orders. You can put in an order before the night. If you think something's going to happen and you bought in at 50 cents and you say, dang, this thing keeps jumping 25 cents pre market, I'm not getting out of bed. Well, put in an order for 75 cents. Sell half of what you were holding. If it sells, you wake up in the morning, it's come back down. You made money and it's at the same price, and you can buy in again and you've got profit. So you don't have to miss pre markets just because you don't want to get out of bed.
yeah.
I'm
So
sorry. Did I interrupt?
oh no, not at all. I was just looking at that uh I'll just go ahead and share it. So, I was just showing that it
Oh,
is halted. So I just looked to see if I could buy it because it was on the major exchange and it says
now,
it's
do they
temporarily
give you a
halted.
code for yours? There's normally a code for a halt. It'll tell you if they're in trouble, they've been shut down,
Um,
or the price was running too hot, or news.
it
News
could
are
be
halted.
just news, or it could be just a big increase in buying or
Look
selling
at
or
the
something.
check out the 1 minute chart, Taylor, and see what the volume looked like at the end of the day. See if she was getting hot.
Okay,
Is
here's
that the 1 minute?
uh-huh.
How,
So
how far did she jump?
from about 82.96 point to 8364, not that much. So I don't know.
Yeah. So it can't be that. Normally 10%. Is that one of the triggers if it moves 10% too quickly?
I am not sure. I don't know the exact amount, but
I
that
don't either.
stopped at
It could
a
be
while ago.
news. It could
It
be
could it
news.
could be.
And
Yeah.
that's normally a good thing. Not always, but normally good. And I don't know. They normally do it in the middle of the day when they're going to release the news
No
in the
truth.
middle of the day. So they give everyone a chance to see it. Then they turn it on. I know that sounds silly, but that's what they do a lot. So I'd be watching this tomorrow morning. If
Yeah, for
she's
sure.
halted, she could pop. Something could be building up and she could just rip as soon as they let her go. So, and you can put in an order before.
Mhm.
So I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm just saying there's all these things that could happen. And the probability is that with money coming in, financials around the corner, dealing with Lockheed Martin, which is a big name, dealing with the European Space Agency, another big organization, The company's got the right the right chemicals right now to be a success. So I'm liking it.
Okay, that's about it.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. Well, you got me up already. Good night. All right. We are going to look at BLFR. This has just come in from Jimmy Jean. I'm thinking of sausage every time I read your name, Jimmy Jean. I see the package in my mind. I know it's Jimmy Dean, but I'm simple.
I was gonna
Oh, I
correct you.
know. Okay, we are looking at BLFR. I just happened to get some information about this today. One of my regular contacts on Twitter mentioned that he had gotten into this, entered BLFR. And it's like, oh, did you really? So I went and looked it up, and it's like, okay, I'm not seeing anything exciting here. Well, first off, they're into oil. Oil, whenever we have a bubble, folks, we had the .com bubble, we had the real estate bubble. Right now, we are creating an AI bubble. Whenever these bubbles occur, you get a lot of false, fake BS companies that come out there, and we all start investing in them, and then they all pop, 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 and the big ones that are real are left. Well, during that time period, energy is what suffers. The energy sector always goes down during those bubbles. And when the bubbles pop, guess who comes back to life? Energy does. So right now there's a lot of precursing going on with energy. People are setting up because they know energy is always in demand. And what's hated at one point becomes loved again, especially with energy. Well, this company has made two deals. Two deals. Now, when my friend got in, there was only one deal. I think one came out today. Yes, it did. Blue Fire Equipment enters into a binding, you got to love a binding letter of agreement with Resources Rock Exploration to increase oil production. And then the other one, there it is. Blue Fire Equipment acquires Screaming Eagle, cash flow positive family owned oil and gas company business. Cash flow. That means they're not going to have to do exploration, da da. No, it's making money. That's pretty much why I stay away from a lot of these mining companies. Most of them are just looking around still. They're not making money. And I don't want to wait until you find it. So, what sort of money are they making right now? Okay, thank you. All right, at the end of the year, they weren't making hardly anything. I'm sure they couldn't pay one person $22,000. Quarterly, nothing. Nothing's happening here. So it's good news to hear they've gotten into a business that has positive cash flow already going. Once that deal closes, that money comes into this company. What is their balance sheet? Oh boy, look at this. We got nothing in the bank. Poor people starving. I thought I was thin. Total current liabilities 28, and they got no assets. That's why I went buy it. It was a zero. So it looks like a startup company. They're down 28,000 on their shareholder equity. Let's see what we got for relative volume today. Not much, a little more. She jumped from 223, jumped, and crawled to 251,000 shares today. Let's see. News, we looked at the news. Let's check out those disclosures. Nothing there. 2018. Nothing going on there. Last thing we got to look at is a share structure. Is it worth our time? Yeah, it is. We've got about 15 million, which is just a little less than half of all the shares. Insiders got most of the shares. I noticed that with a lot of oil companies. They like to own most of the shares. We got 15 million, which isn't a bad share count whatsoever. So the company's got catalyst going right now. Looks like revenues are going to be coming in. And we haven't done a deep dive here. Obviously, you see the news, you should dive into it and see what each of those deals are actually worth to them. But things are looking good. She is on the pink tier. She's current, and she's got both of those green ticks I'm telling you about: verified profile and transfer agent verified. Look for these folks. If you're going to invest, this would be an investment company for energy. You could play the bounce, but I think a lot of people are looking at energy. Like CIE, she's taking a beating right now, a total beating. She's going to come back. She's going to come back. HNRC, people still upset because WDHI isn't on the market yet, but it's going to come back. All of these oil energy companies are down. They're going to come back. Let's take a look at the chart for BLFR.
Oh crap! I just switched over. Okay, so I know I'm going to start with this just because I think it's so crazy. So this
Wow.
this is the daily chart, and this is 10 years worth of data.
Whoa,
We have not seen this price in 10 years. This is 2013.
there you go. There's a milestone to say the least.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, what in the world? So I went back 10 years. We have not seen this price in 10 years, this company. This low here is 0025. Today it went to a high of 37, over 37 cents.
What?
0025. Yes, you heard me right. That was on that was last Thursday. It was at uh last Thursday
I
the
think
12th.
that's I oh my god, I think that's either 150,000% gains because five of those are in a penny, and then you got to multiply. No, I think that may be 1.5
Or 2
million
weeks,
percent
sorry.
gains.
2 weeks. Sorry about
Honestly,
that. I'm so
woo,
sorry.
you
That
hurt my
2
head.
weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. So 2 weeks ago, it was at 0025 from what I can tell, give or take. I mean,
All right, well,
double
come on
zeros.
down. I'm
dou-
really interested to see the 1 hour or 4 hour chart on
Okay,
that
sure,
puppy.
sure, sure, sure. Yeah, I was
Wow,
just
what a rip, though. Thanks for pointing that out because my chart doesn't go back 10 hours. I would have to purposely ask
10
it to do that.
years. 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So this was for about 2 weeks of run, give or take.
Holy cow. So when did that run start? What was the date?
I would say, I mean, the volume
Roughly.
started last Thursday, 2 Thursdays ago, 2 weeks ago.
All right. And that first acquisition came on 10/19.
Okay, so that was
That's
here.
1 week
That was
ago.
1 week ago, but the volume started 2 weeks ago. This is the 12th. If you see right here, down here at the bottom of the screen, it says Thursday, 12 October 2023 at the very bottom. So
There was
that's
a letter put out from the CEO, and there may be information about where. Oh yeah, yeah, he's talking about a merger on 10/12.
there
He
you go.
came out with the shareholder letter and stroked everybody.
There you go. And so a week later, we got even bigger green candles. And this is
I
the
missed
1 hour
it.
chart, just ran and ran and ran and ran.
Wow, wow, wow!
Pulled back a little bit. And then oh my gosh.
You could have got rich. You could have got rich.
Yeah, coulda, woulda, that
Oh
is,
my God, a
oh,
$100 bill. You could take a vacation, pay your rent for a year. I'm telling you, folks, that was a lot of money. Oh man, I'm sorry.
yeah.
Look, folks, whenever you see news that says CEO shareholder letter, it is the most boring title in the world. But this is a chance to find information out that you're not going to get in news presses. They'll tell you what's happened in the past, what he's going to do in the future. And you see what a CEO letter can launch. He started a fire there that just took down the entire
Mhm.
building. Unbelievable. And it's
Yeah,
still climbing.
it is, it is. It pulled back a little bit, and it's still climbing.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I missed that.
That is wild to me. That's why I backed all the way up, because I was like, this is such a big jump. And I kept going back and going back and going back. I said, maybe at the beginning, it was like 10 years ago. So, and there's been no stock splits that I saw or anything, nothing like that. No forward splits or reverse splits or anything like that. So there was nothing. This is 10 years of stuff. And this is insanity. This is daily candles here.
Definitely worth watching. She's obviously doing things. And as I said, revenues are just about to get started. We've had all this run on the merger news. The merger is going to happen, not a big jump on the closing, but now they got revenues. Now it starts running again. I'd
Hmm.
watch it.
Yep. So there you go.
All right, we've got time for one more. I'm sorry, folks, we're not going to be able to get the DCCQ. Jimmy Jean sneaking it in there, my man. CEI, I know we want to look at it. I did just mention it, if that helps at all. Mullen's having a comeback. She had some news today. I can't remember what it was, but we're not going to get to that either. Sorry, Mirza. So sorry, I guessed I missed. So CEI will go up in your opinion. In my opinion, whatever that's worth to you. But I think the whole entire oil industry is going to go up when their time comes. So we're going to take a look here at Illustrato Pictures International. Worst name for a company ever. I don't know why they haven't changed their name. This is ticker ILUS. I've fallen away from ILUS. She was one of my favorite tickers on the OTC market. This was on the expert market. She was saved by Karen Courier. Karen Courier was a custodian appointed. She asked, she got appointment of this to get it off the expert market, clean it up at her own expense, all of their old debt, take care of all the financials, and she pulled it off of the expert market, put it onto the pink market, went and found a deal and made a merger. And it has just been growing ever since. Now, she doesn't own the company. She was just custodian. She was there to fix it. She made something for doing all that, and then she had to release it. A lot of times she likes to hold a position of a director, sometimes CEO of these companies. She's got lots of these expert companies she's been saving. We haven't heard about her in a while, not since 2021, really. But in either case, this company has been a huge success in the fire industry. Everything you can imagine. They sell, let me see here. We can jump over here. They sell all the goodies for the fire department. And I mean from a little electric vehicles to roam around the woods to entire full-size trucks. They sell the nozzles. They have metaverse training, 3D goggle training so that you can fight fires in 3D. They outfit high-rise buildings with firefighting sprinkler systems and alarm systems. I mean, if it's to do with firefighting, they do it. And they just keep doing more. And to be honest, I haven't been watching them here. I keep seeing news on them, so God only knows where they've gotten to here recently. Let's check out the relative volume first. Well, something's going on. She's doing 4.5 million average. Today she did 5 million. Share structure. Oh boy, that has gone up a lot. It's a shame. I bet this stock has fallen a lot since I looked at it last. She's at 1.3 billion shares now. I don't think her shares were that high when Karen had it. Let's see here. Let's take a look at the disclosures first. We got a most recent financial that was amended. That was on September 13th. Don't see anything else there. Come on with the news. What do we got here for news? All bullpucky. All right, I'm going to come over here, my backup site for news. They bring in more news than the OTC does sometimes. Let's see what we got going here. We got lots of news. October 20th shareholder update. This would be the letter to read. Right there, the update. It's going to tell you what's going on in the future. Let's take a look at it real briefly here. All right. ILIS Industrial Subsidiary Quality Industrial Quind awaits comments. S1 registration. They doing a spin out, I think. I think that was one of the things I was reading. Quind, QIND, awaits comments to its S1 registration. I do believe that's what that is for. It is intended that the acquisition will serve as a special purpose vehicle for expansion of the company's public safety subsidiary, Emergency Response Technologies. So ILIS is doing a spinout of ERT, and somehow Quind is involved in this. They've already filed the S1. That's the important part. People say they're going to uplist something, but until they file the right forms, it's just all talk. That's what we look for. That's what you want to see a pink do. You want to see them get the real paperwork in there before you think about putting money in. ILIS confirms that it has agreed to a revised payment plan with AJB for a repayment of some debt. Plans to remain firmly in place for ILIS to pay a special equity dividend in the form of Quind stock to ILIS shareholders of record date of Quind's New York Stock Exchange American uplisting. So they've got a lot going on here, folks. They're going to be putting this on the New York Stock Exchange. They don't give us a date here. No, I don't see a date. I see everything during the course of 2024, must be repaid through mid-2024. So maybe somewhere around there. So they got a spin out going on. That is a big deal. They're taking a portion of their business, putting it out on the market under Quind, and you're going to get shares in that. So owning ILIS, I like ILIS. I don't know where the price is right now on the charts. I'm sure it is down, but it has value. Now, speaking of value, let's take a look at those financials. God, look at their jump in revenues here. 2021, which is what I said, that's when Karen Courier saved this thing. Her first year, she did $11 million. Fire is always going to be in style. Sorry to say, doesn't matter if we have good times or bad times. Fire happens all the time. So we need that stuff. 2022, we're up to 78 million, and their profit is 28 million. Oh, Look, every single quarter here, I don't know what's up with this one, but every quarter here is big, and it's gotten biggest. In the last quarter of June, 23 million. They took home 8 million. Balance sheet, not much in the bank. They got it working out there, I guess. 1.8 million in the bank, but they are owed $83 million. That's coming in. 43 million in inventory. You got a lot. 255 million, a $250 million in assets, and virtually a $250 million in liabilities. And we're down 30 million on this company right now. I don't think there was anything else we needed to look at, right? We got all of it. Yeah, that takes care of it. And I really do want to see the chart on this one. So let's take a look at the last chart we're looking at for today, Taylor, ILUS.
Are you sure you want to see it?
No, but it's going to be painful. Show it to me.
Okay, this is the daily chart. Not too good. So
Yeah,
I just went
so
back
that's
and
only 1 year. What did it look like in 2021?
2021. So funny you mentioned that because I was just looking around the chart when you were talking. So I zoomed in
Wow.
here just to see what was going on. It was consolidating for about a little over a year, October 2019 to January 2021, which is about here.
That was probably when it was in the expert market.
Yeah, so whatever that was
Yeah.
these keep moving around from October 2019 to January 2021. So in 2021, here's what happened. There was some kind of something you mentioned.
Yeah. Everything I mentioned. That's
Yeah.
what caused that.
Okay,
How
so
high
that
did
was
that go?
so we'll just kind of walk through this. So January 2021, we went from like this 000 or 001 something all the way up to by mid-February 18 cents or almost 19 cents.
Another get rich surge.
Yeah. And then it just kind of like tapered off, kind of did a little like wedge pattern here and broke out of that.
Yeah.
That was in August of 2021, since you're asking about 2021. And we went all the way up to around 47 cents there. So down from 4 cents, 5 cents up to about 48, 49 cents.
Yeah, and when you go back and look at the news during that period, you will see the company was making acquisition after
Yeah, there's
acquisition
all
after
kinds of
acquisition.
volume here.
Yeah, they had lots of calls to be running. That was not just a meaningless surge. We have a lot of
Mhm.
those on the OTC market. That was a legitimate surge. When it came all the way back down, that was just plain sad. This company right now is hurting. I don't know why, but I like the company. You do some more due diligence on this. You'll see this is a strong company.
Yeah, it came down to that 12 cents, 12 or 13 cents area and kind of bounced around there and held that support until it broke it. And then once it broke it, that turned into resistance and it never regained it. There was the resistance there. And once it broke right there, resistance and it never recovered. So here's where we are now. We're not even at 2 cents.
so, so
We're at
in my opinion,
point zero 0.01 0.0140.
in my opinion, this is a buying opportunity. Now, I'm not saying buy 100%, but if you don't buy some now, after doing your due diligence, when you see all that this company has, you saw what they have just in inventory. I know they're down right now, but you do your due diligence. That price is ridiculous for this company. I like ILS. The company is strong, hardworking. The management is always working for shareholder value. I'm sold on this company, but I'll be honest, I am not invested in it. I know that sounds like an oxymoron, but it just happens to be the case. She looks like she's trying to come up, though. Looks like she may have hit a real bottom there with that big spike.
Yeah, that was yeah, and there was a lot of volume there too. That was on this past Monday or Tuesday, sorry.
Wow.
Tuesday. Yeah, so but I did a little math just for fun. If you because you were talking and I like providing some kind of extra benefit here. So if you would have bought up here or right here at this support or at this resistance, like let's say you put $1,000 into it, and let's say you are sitting here right now after buying $1,000 worth here, you'd have about $78 right now. That's how far this has gone.
Now do it the other way around. Now buy $78 worth down there and wait for it to go back up there.
Okay. Yeah, give me a second because my
Everything goes up and down. And
yeah.
the
So let's
market
do $78 at it
and,
right
and
now.
all we're doing is looking for the floor of the ocean. And there's no light down there. You can't see the floor. You've got to feel for it. And then when you hit it, you scoop across it and then come back up. So we're looking for that. But until
So
you know where it's at, don't pass up an opportunity.
okay, if
And
I bought
especially
$78 right now, where do you want me to go to?
as especially buying on a penny, you buy it
Okay.
at a penny, soon as it hits 2 cents, you've doubled your money. So when it goes to 36 cents, you've made 3,600% gains off of buying at a penny. The penny is the best buy. So even if you don't buy everything, you should buy some at a penny because it's the best profit margin you're going to get.
Hmm.
Anything else you got there, Taylor?
Oh no, that's about it. That's about it.
So I brought up this comment from Jerome Horace. You skipped me, John, and then he says twice. I don't see your posts. I went all the way up looking for you. I don't see any posts from you, buddy. I did not skip you. I don't
I
know
didn't
if
see it either. I didn't see it. Nope.
now
Nope.
sometimes it does happen that posts put on YouTube. We are looking at your comments on StreamYard.
I'm
I
looking on YouTube as well, and I don't see it.
So I'm sorry, Jerome. I would not skip you, buddy. You know I don't do that. First come, first served. It's a golden rule. Joanne Moniston wanted to look at CYH. Sorry, we didn't get to that one either. Travis, better late than never. 5 after 5. I appreciate you showing up, buddy. Don't you dare request a stock at this moment. CEI would be a good one to discuss. A lot of people are interested in it, folks. We didn't have a chance to look at it, but I did tell you it's in the oil energy. That is down. Anytime there is a bubble, whether it be .com, real estate, or AI, when those bubbles pop, the energy suffers while the bubbles are building. When they all pop, energy comes up. It's just history. It repeats itself over and over. So CEI, I bet it's coming back. All right, folks, we are now at 5:07. I've stolen 7 extra minutes of your time, and I appreciate it. They were so juicy. Thank you, Taylor. I appreciate your charting for us.
You're welcome. Anytime.
You got to keep calm. You're just a little too excited here. People are going to start calling people.
I get excited about some of these charts. Come on.
That's it. We ended with a sad chart, so it's kind of tough to be excited. Right. We'll see you next week, folks. Thursday, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. This is recorded, so if you didn't get a chance to be here, you can come next week. And I do put out a placeholder for these videos early, like noon. So you can put in a ticker at noon. If you remember while you're going to the bathroom, just grab your phone, put in a ticker. I'll see it before 4 o'clock, and I'll be able to put it first in the queue. And then you'll be late getting here, but I'll have already covered your stock. Just like trading, you just got to have another plan. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye, folks.
Bye.